topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Churchill said, "Those who fail to learn from history are condemned to repeat it." Kevin Hallinan believes that certainly applies to business. Welcome to Winning Business Radio, here at W4CY Radio. That's W4CY.com. And now, your host, Kevin Hallinan.
Thanks, everyone, for joining in again today. I'm Kevin Hallinan, and welcome back to Winning Business TV and Radio on W4CY.com. Of course, we're streaming live on Talk4TV.com. That's the number 4. In addition to streaming live on Facebook, and that's at Winning Business Radio, as well as available in podcast form after the live show on many other platforms, including YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple, pretty much wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. The mission of Winning Business Radio and TV, as regular viewers and listeners know, is to offer insights and advice to help people avoid the mistakes of others. That's to learn best practices, the how-tos, the what-tos, the what-not-tos, to be challenged and hopefully to be inspired by the successes of others. Those are consultants, coaches, advisors, authors, founders and owners, entrepreneurs, people with expertise. But, virtually every successful person I've ever had a chance to talk to has had some form of failure in their lives and careers. So I say it every week, while we all have to get our knees skinned once in a while, I'm driven to keep those scrapes from needing major surgery. Let's endeavor to learn from history so we don't repeat it. I've given the better part of my career equipping businesses to grow, from solopreneurs to small and medium-sized companies all the way up to the Fortune 50. And I've seen some of those companies win, and to varying degrees, I've seen some of them fail. I've had the opportunity to rub elbows with some of the highest performing people around and with some who probably should have found other professions. And in my own businesses, I've had lots of success, but some failures too. So I like to think I've learned a lot from those experiences. So you're going to hear from me, but mostly you're going to hear from guests. Today's no exception. My guest is Jonathan Bello, founder, CEO, and principal accountant of 1-8 Solutions, and here's his bio. Since launching 1-8 Solutions in 2001 and becoming a certified QuickBooks Pro advisor, Jonathan developed a client-first business attitude, always putting his clients' unique business needs first. Mostly, he's driven to continuously grow and improve his business skills to help clients grow theirs. Accounting and bookkeeping are two of the deepest levels of understanding of one's business, and Jonathan and his team value that partnership. They seek to understand the unique nature of their clients' businesses to achieve improved results. They gather knowledge of the business's inner workings by conducting a detailed assessment. They don't just learn about expenses and revenue, they also discover what's on the periphery that have a meaningful impact to the success of the business. They assess how the customer base is acquired, the systems used to manage the business, and a lot more. This manner of gathering information allows Jonathan and his team to take a more holistic approach to accounting needs and giving information back in a more timely way while providing meaningful knowledge or the other half of the story. Caring about business, his clients' businesses, is Jonathan's business. He likes to say that he helps business owners sleep more soundly at night, knowing that financial operations are stress-free. He was born in Boston, so he's a true Bostonian. He spent the first 7 years of his life in Needham, Massachusetts, then moved to Newton, where he has lived since and where he now runs his business. He spent 5 years in Maui, so we'll have to ask about that. And his significant other of 13 years is Jen, and they have a 10-year-old giant schnauzer named Gunner. Oh, and they currently dog sit for their nephew's 6-year-old Cavapoo named, and this is how it's spelled, Hunter. And finally, Jonathan is an avid skier. Jonathan, welcome to Winning Business TV and Radio.
Thank you for having me here, Kevin. And I got to say, you have a second life as a talk show host.
Well, that's the fun.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about, a little bit of family and then some background. Tell us about Jen.
Oh, Jen is my partner, and she is my foil. And she has helped me settled down in my life. So
Nice.
for many,
Yeah.
many years, I had FOMO. If I didn't go
Yeah.
out, I
Yeah.
thought I was missing something. And now she has gotten me very comfortable to be home, comfortable in my own thoughts, being quiet,
That's great.
which is a huge change of pace, which also sometimes causes conflict because after a long day of working, I got to tell Juan to make a small change in the crawl. It's 1H Solutions. It wound up being TON. Just noticing that in the crawl. Um, and so sometimes that causes conflict because, like, after a long day, I'm ready to
Mm,
sit on the edge, and
yeah.
she's been waiting for me to come out and be part of her life.
More conversation for sure.
It's been a very positive part of my growth in my life having a partner like her,
Mm, mm,
especially over the past year or so, where some health issues have cropped up. Not being alone, and of course, loneliness is one of the biggest problems plaguing
mm.
America, the
Yes.
world.
Yes.
Uh, Men mostly more so than women. So it's good. It's good to have somebody around.
I like hearing that. All right. Tell us about the dogs.
Okay, so living in Maui, I went
Yeah.
from being a person who was wary of dogs, scared of
Yeah. Yeah.
dogs, uh, and I met this woman, and she had two schnauzers. She had a giant schnauzer and a miniature schnauzer.
Yeah. We had a mini for a long time.
Yeah, that's right. We've had this conversation
Yes.
before.
Yeah.
And so the first time she introduced me to the dog, I said, "Oh, these dogs are nice, but they smell." So 2 years later, if they smelt, I was washing the dogs on my own. A few years later, she called to tell me that she met a new breeder, and that I should get my first giant schnauzer on my own. And Gunner is my third giant schnauzer
Wow.
and will be my
Wow.
last giant schnauzer,
Hmm.
because as I get older, and strength is starting to wane, if something happens, I don't want to be picking up a 70 or 80 or 90-pound
Yeah.
dog to have to
Yeah.
carry them out of the woods or something. But he's a goofball. He's 10 years old. He's got a ton of puppy energy. Hunter, and by the way, nobody in my family had dogs before me.
No kidding.
The family is now was up to 4 dogs. We lost one recently. Hunter joined us about 6 years ago. Right, they got him right before COVID, but he, in some ways, is a COVID dog, and he is a 15-pound Cavapoo. He's really cute,
Yeah.
and he's very needy also.
That's all right.
Oh,
That's all right. We
and
love
my
it.
brother and his wife are in Tokyo and Vietnam for the next 3 weeks. So we're
Oh,
house
wow.
sitting for him.
Okay.
We're not house sitting. We're dog sitting.
Dog sitting for them too. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's go back. Let's rewind the time machine. Set the Wayback Machine.
Oh boy.
Simon, to growing up. What were your early interests in, say, high school?
Oh, my early interest in high school, first being a bad boy, going out and drinking and smoking pot. That was always my, but then, truthfully, I was not a great student. I was good. I was a good student. Got me into UMass Amherst. Got me
Yeah.
in the School of Business Administration.
Heisenberg.
So
Yeah.
that was an achievement. But I was always like, one of these kids who wanted to, go out and have fun and play before becoming serious.
Mhm.
Athletic activities was skiing, wrestling. I used to joke that my best activities are from the waist down. And as you know, you've skied with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Loved music.
Mm.
Around 17, 18 years old, I started going to my first live concerts. And that was always a big part of my life. Growing up in the late 70s, early 80s as a young man, was always running into Boston because I lived in Newton, so it was easy. So enjoying the nightlife. Went to Newport because a friend had rented a house. I was the guest who never left, and that began like 10 summers of doing Newport summers.
That's cool.
which eventually got me out of accounting into software sales.
Well, I'll have that question in a minute. How did you pick accounting as a career, at least initially and then now?
Accounting as a career, I call
Yeah.
myself the reluctant accountant.
Mm-hmm.
It was math that got me into UMass,
Right.
and I went to UMass initially as pre-med.
Oh,
And again, my lack of study ethics
yeah.
got in the way. I had a great UMass experience,
As did
and
I.
I realized that I'm not going to be going to medical school. That I had better choose an alternate route, and I was able to do something that was very difficult to do and transfer to, at that time, School of Business Administration. Now it's the
Yeah.
Eisenberg School.
Right.
And I'm looking around at the majors, and I just felt accounting was going to be the best fit for me. I very quickly realized that I was not going to be a CPA, and I was not going to be doing taxes, and I wasn't going to be doing audit. And I already developed a leaning towards working with small businesses. I got a job in the university working with student-run businesses, helping them understand accounting. That was back in 1980, 79, 80, 81, until I graduated. And got out, did 2 years of corporate accounting, hated it, said I'll never do accounting again, but I could never get away from the industry. It's just like Al Pacino in The Godfather. Just when you think you're out, you get pulled back in. I worked for software companies. And then 1-8 Solutions was started as a IT service firm using QuickBooks Consulting as a lead to have recurring revenue with my clients.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing setup, training, implementation of accounting solutions, your goal is to work yourself out of a job. And I didn't want to do that.
Right.
I wanted to build a relationship.
What's behind the 1-8 name?
I'll come back to
you can come back to it if you want.
Just very quickly. So 12 years into the business as an IT person, I realized I couldn't scale it. And I decided to get into transactional accounting because one thing I knew I did well is I teach people how to do accounting and bookkeeping.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how did 1-8 come along?
Yeah.
Okay. So my first consulting shingles was Bell Consulting. Now, I hung out my first shingle in '87. Right after all the all the Bell companies were broken up into the Baby Bells.
Oh, yeah.
And so I always got the question, you're like, are you related to Bell Labs? Are you part of AT&T or something like that? So when I came back from Maui, and I'll tell you when you're ready, I'll tell you more about that.
Yeah.
And I had done a couple of stints working for some people. I decided to hang out the shingle again because it was 2001. The .NOT bust had taken place.
That's right.
There were plenty of salespeople who had successful track records because I always worked with startups as a salesperson that never had a track record. I decided to hang out the shingle for 1-8 Solutions. I was struggling with coming up with a name, and my oldest brother, and I'm the youngest of 3 boys, said, hey, come and have lunch with me. I got some names for you. And he gave me like the first 2, and then he gave me 1-8. And I go, why 1-8? Well, I'm Jewish. And Chai, the letter Chai, which is the 18th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, was also my grandfather's name, Hyman. He lived to 88 years old, which is 18 past 70. So there was some numerology there.
Yeah.
And life, luck. It resonated. I said, that's going to be the name of the company.
I like it. That makes a lot of sense. All right. It's already 1:15. We're going to take our first.
Time flies.
It does. We're going to take our first commercial break. We'll be back in just 1 minute with Jonathan Bello.
You're listening to Winning Business Radio with Kevin Hallinan on W4CY Radio. That's W4CY.com. Don't go away. More helpful information is coming right up, right here on Winning Business Radio.
Bestian Wealth Management is family-owned for 2 generations. They take pride in thoughtful financial planning and wealth management with a family feel for your closely held family business. Bestien Wealth Management focuses on deep planning, integrating your business planning with personal. They will help put your money to work and your mind at ease. Go to bestienwealthmanagement.com for more information. Advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network, a registered investment advisor. Join the Bestien family and let our family advise your family. That's bestienwealthmanagement.com for your complimentary initial consultation.
Have you ever dreamt of being on the radio? Well, now is your chance. Be a radio show guest on the #1 ranked internet radio station and promote you and your business for free. Yes, you heard it, free. Business advertising right here on W4CY.com. Call 561-506-4031 now to get booked on one of our shows. That's 561-506-4031. Get your free advertising now.
And now back to Winning Business Radio with Kevin Hallinan, presenting exciting topics and expert guests with one goal in mind, to help you succeed in business. Here once again is Kevin Hallinan.
We're back with Jonathan Bello, founder, CEO, and lead or principal accountant at 1-8 Solutions. Yeah.
I did put lead in the
I had to check my notes there. All right. So you spent time in sales. You were at startups. Yep. You got an accounting and a computer science degree. And then you take this turn and you find yourself in Maui as a fine art consultant. You got to explain that.
Okay, so I went to my first trip at Maui in 1987. I was just getting into windsurfing.
Cool.
And,
All right. Yep.
And my friend says, "You got to come and visit Maui. You love it." And I fell in love with the place. And I was a salesman for a software company at the time, or I just hung up my shingle. And I went to a gallery, and I was so impressed with the sales capability of the person that I went back the next day and said, "Do you have to be an art person to sell art?" And they said, "Nope, you just have to be a good salesperson." So for 5 years, I developed this dream of moving to Maui. And then in 92, the stars aligned, and the opportunity to pick up my stakes, disappoint my parents, and move to Maui came up, and I went to work for that gallery.
Cool.
Now, that was 1993 during the savings and loan debacle. And guess what? A lot of people didn't have discretionary cash to spend on art. So, and as I alluded to before, just when you're thinking you're out of the industry, I got pulled back in, and I wound up starting to do system setup, accounting system setup. I got introduced to QuickBooks there for the first time, and I did that for about 2.5 years there.
And you do
and
Sage,
I got really
too,
good
right?
at surfing and windsurfing.
I bet you did. You want to be on the North Shore?
No, I actually live in Kihei, which is on the southwestern side.
Okay.
But the island is so small that it only takes half hour to 45 minutes to get someplace else.
No, we were there. When were we there? September, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, just last September. So, all right. So you do more than just QuickBooks. You do. I know Sage is a little bit larger for larger companies. Is that right?
No, I'm going to say that I have 3 wives. Okay.
Yep.
My oldest wife in existence is Intuit. I consider Intuit a wife. I am married to them right now. We only do QuickBooks.
Okay.
My second wife, of course, is my girlfriend, who I'm not officially married to.
Yeah.
And then if everybody notices in the crawl, there's a woman's name, TU. The I's are silent, and she's my third wife.
That's your work wife.
That's my work wife.
That's
yes.
right. That's right. All right. So tell us how you saw the need for the work that you do, such that you made it your mission. You founded a company in 2001.
Well, initially, again, when I found the company, I was using so QuickBooks, Intuit has a website called Find a Pro Advisor.
Right.
And that used to be money for me. I'm number one in Boston. I've got 75-star reviews. People, especially with QuickBooks Desktop, they were calling, we're having problems. We need help. I'd go in, I'd help them straighten out their problems. And I said, oh, what are you doing for IT? And then, and it wound up working out very well. But I couldn't scale that business.
Yeah.
And I just bit the bullet and said, I'm going to do transactional work. I'm going to get my hands dirty and help people run their businesses. And we started off just doing bookkeeping, more like recording the checkbook and so on, maybe entering bills. And then I said, wait, this isn't what I learned at school in accounting. We're not like somebody would they would pay their insurance bill. And let's say the insurance bill is $120,000. And that would hit that 1 month. Okay. And that's not realistic because it's really the benefit is spread out over the year. So then we started doing more accounting services. Then the buzz term of client accounting services came in, which is what I've always been saying. Let us help you see beyond the numbers. Let us help you understand what's going on with your business. What are the trends? And can we use this information not just to understand what happened in the past, look into the future by doing forecasts, cash flow forecasts, budgets, and help people be able to make decisions.
Which not all accountants do, of course.
Right. So that's what, so there's CFOs and, my version of a CFO is they're going to help you really plan the growth of your business. Like if you're thinking of getting into a new line or opening up a new office or hiring a person, they will help you do deep analysis to make that decision. We can do some of that light work. Like I can, if somebody says, "Can I hire a person?" and I can say, look at it and I can say, "Yeah, you can," or and make them think about, here's your startup costs of hiring a new person.
So you lead a team at this point.
Oh yeah, yep. We are coast to coast and north to south. We have a person who's outside of Chicago, and we have 3 people in North Texas. We have 1 person in California. Majority of us are in New England. But
and is that to cover? I mean, you can work anywhere remotely, but is that to cover the time zones?
It helps, but not primarily. Yeah. It's more about the quality of the person than the time zone that they're in.
That makes sense.
Now, we do have a funny story, very quick, I'll tell you. Yeah. We have a legacy client, and we had a person who we had to let go that was out of California. And he's on QuickBooks Desktop, and he's using his computer all day long. So we can't do any work until he's done. Now, that was great when we had a person in California because she's 3 hours behind. So now we're going to work on trying to get them to convert to QBO, and it's come along. So it might be a good time for him to do it because it impedes our ability to work.
So tell people, those that don't know, QBO is QuickBooks Online. What's the difference between that and the desktop version?
Well, less and less and less. When it first came out, there was a significant difference in features between QBO and between online and desktop. The features is really getting narrow, and in addition, there are actually now features that are in online that are not in desktop. We transferred 1/8 solutions in 2020 from desktop to online. And I think that was one of the best business decisions I ever made.
Yeah, I remember having to stop working in the accounting system to let the CPA do the thing.
Yeah.
Do their thing. And then
no more of that. It's you invite, depending on your version, you can invite 1 up to 3 CPA firms to your QuickBooks. Not a problem anymore. And you don't have to send an accountant copy for them to make their entries, wait for it to come back.
Yeah.
More of that too.
Yeah. It's so much better. All right. So you consider yourself, as I believe your clients do, really as a strategic partner rather than a vendor. Talk about that a bit.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It pains me when I'm considered a vendor, not a
Mm,
partner.
mm.
Some of my clients that are on the younger side, I they I've gotten them to call me accounting dad.
Yep. Yep.
I had a client the other day who was looking at potentially doing something, and he said, "You're the first person that I called to get advice." That was tremendous.
That's great. Well, with that type of reputation, you're at the
Mhm.
top of the pile anyway, right? So,
Well, we hope. We hope. Not
mm.
always, but we hope.
How do you find your team?
Ooh, okay. So this is in all different ways. Okay.
Hmm.
When we're first getting started, we did ads like in Craigslist,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and I found one of my best resources, best team members that way. I have gotten a lot of introductions from networking to team
Hmm.
members.
Hmm.
Provisors has been
Hmm.
great that way. We are recruiting for a senior accountant position right now. So in that we did a ad in LinkedIn. Um,
Why don't you give a quick plug for that? What are the qualifications?
so it is a fully remote position. It starts off as part-time. Hours are very flexible. And we're looking for people who I've been training up for years. We want somebody coming in this time who's ready to go. So typically they have real accounting experience.
Hmm.
They have both a level 1 and level 2 QuickBooks Online certification,
Okay.
and they have knowledge of some of the reporting and AI platforms.
Okay.
And we will be putting the ad. We took down the ad because we didn't have. We had a little bit of a bug that we fixed, so the ad will be going back up in the next day or two.
Great. So if
And we
anybody
have a
hears,
great. We have a value. We have an evaluation process. Like
oh, good,
somebody
good.
before we even talk to goes through a survey. How long you've been working with QuickBooks? What industries are you used to working with? What function areas in QuickBooks are you comfortable? Are you certified? Are you listed as a
Mm,
QuickBooks Pro advisor?
hmm.
If you consider yourself a guru, why do you consider yourself a guru? What can you do better? That's all in my survey.
That's really good. So who are the clients that you are servicing? Where do they come from? What are their size? By come from, what industries are they in? It probably doesn't matter a whole lot, but give us more of the background of clients.
Okay. So initially, our clientele found us mostly through the QuickBooks Find a Pro Advisor website
Hmm.
and some networking that I did before joining Provisors.
Hmm.
Provisors has been a boom for our business.
Mm. Same.
Um, Now, bear with me one second. Spam phone call. Um, our clients, so my specialty is going in and understanding how a business operates.
Mm.
I've been doing that for 40 years.
Mm.
Okay. I cut my, when I got out of doing transactional accounting, I got into manufacturing software. So I learned manufacturing, I learned distribution. I just, when I started working with businesses, I wanted to understand the why of what they were doing, not just what they were doing. And that built into our assessment. One of the new changes that they made in QuickBooks in the Intuit accounting suite is I can see all my clients' financial information in a single window.
Hmm.
And now I can ask it, what is the average revenue of my clients? So we have a special, I would say first and foremost, our real specialty is contractors, trades, people who have front end systems that they use to run their business that needs to be incorporated in QuickBooks. So if I was throwing out like to plumbers and HVAC people, if they're listening and you work with Service Titan and you're looking for an accountant that knows Service Titan and QuickBooks, that would be a great fit. I've worked with restaurants, I've worked with retail, professional services, and generally we don't work with startups because they don't generally have enough money to work with us. But if they're well funded, I'm supporting a SaaS startup right now. I have a client who retired and now she's bored and she's starting a new manufacturing concern. So she's still in startup.
Right.
So, we do have some pre-revenue companies. Generally speaking, a good fit of a client who wants basic bookkeeping services typically starts around $750,000 to $1 million, and typically has about 3 to 5 employees.
Okay.
And then our largest client is in the $30 million range, multiple clients in the $10 to $20 million range, multiple clients in the $5 to $10 million range. And then we're actually looking for a lot more under $5 million because the high value clients can sometimes, if they decide to make a move or they go out of business because they didn't listen to me, the loss of monthly revenue hurt. Yeah. So one of the things I know you probably preach is you don't want to have heavy customer concentration.
Right.
So we're working on trying to, lower the average revenue of our clients, actually.
Good. Spread that risk out. Yep. All right. We're going to take our second commercial break. We will be back in about 60 seconds with Jonathan Bello.
You're listening to Winning Business Radio with Kevin Hallinan on W4CY Radio. That's W4CY.com. Don't go away. More helpful information is coming right up, right here on Winning Business Radio.
Bestien Wealth Management is family-owned for 2 generations. They take pride in thoughtful financial planning and wealth management with a family feel for your closely held family business. Bestien Wealth Management focuses on deep planning, integrating your business planning with personal. They will help put your money to work and your mind at ease. Go to bestienwealthmanagement.com for more information. Advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network, a registered investment advisor. Join the Bestien family and let our family advise your family. That's bestienwealthmanagement.com for your complimentary initial consultation.
The YP.com website is your local search engine. If you're looking for a good restaurant, it can help you find the right one nearby with ratings and reviews. Or if your car breaks down, you can use the YP app to find the closest repair shop. Or maybe you're just looking for something to do on a Friday night. Well, it has great local coupons for all sorts of things in your area. No matter what, when, or where, if you're looking for something, YP Local Search can help you find it. So go to YP.com or download the app to search local, find local, and save local.
And now back to Winning Business Radio with Kevin Hallinan, presenting exciting topics and expert guests with one goal in mind, to help you succeed in business. Here once again is Kevin Hallinan.
We're back with Jonathan Bello. He's founder, CEO, and principal/lead accountant at 1-8 Solutions. Talk about the problems that your prospective clients have that you help solve.
Okay, so first and foremost is lousy financials. Okay, people doing it on their own, putting their trust in a person who purports to be knowledgeable but really isn't. So that that's the first hurdle that we encounter. As by doing our assessment, we try to get under the hood and figure out why they were doing things like that. The next thing is that they're not getting information on a timely basis, and it's not accurate. Especially if they're, key drivers are like, oh, I have an insurance audit and I need to give my insurance agent financials,
Mm.
or I have a loan that I need to either to get the loan or to continue to support the loan that they need to give to the bank. Or they're thinking of selling,
Hmm.
or they
Evaluation, yeah.
need to get a valuation. Those are drivers for getting us in the door. Um, I think the major thing is that a lot of people that we work with really don't have a workflow, a tech stack.
Oh yeah, talk about that.
And it's working with them to uh, make sure. A good example is my marquee client. We need to account better for maintenance contracts that they sell, and we're trying to see if we can get it from the front end system. But if we can't get it from a front end system, I have developed a workaround for us to see, how many maintenance contracts do they sell, because that is not revenue until it's used.
Unearned income. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So, it's just getting an understanding of what the client's needs are and helping them solve them by not only putting in QuickBooks but putting in other uh, apps to support that.
Outstanding. So you act as really controller level accounting
Yeah.
department, really,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So one of the nice things, one of the things that makes 1H Solutions different is we're a process-driven firm. We
Mm.
want to learn your processes. We want to learn what makes your business unique, and then we're going to document those processes either in writing or in video or both, and then put those into our workflow system. So if somebody is out, vacation or
Hmm.
health issue,
Hmm.
we're ready to slide somebody else in because everything's documented. And that's definitely one of the things that we pride ourselves on. And like we just replaced a person, and we get the stress test. How good are we living up to what
Hmm.
we expect we are
Hmm.
doing? And every time you go through it, it's a learning experience.
So you're going to handle any kind of catch up or cleanup work.
Yep,
Books are open, quarter's still open, month is still open.
yep. Well, generally speaking, depending on the business. So we work with a couple of companies that, like, especially because they're owned by foreign entities.
Mm.
Like our book's got to be closed by the fifth day,
Hmm.
and once they're closed, you can't touch them. Okay. Then we have a client who,
I know where you're going with this.
yeah. Then we have a client that we were accruing some expenses. We finally got the answer from the client that now it's intermittent. So we now got to go reduce those accruals. Going back to the beginning, we can't touch last year because that is locked. And we issue a financial package every month.
Mm.
We're not going to go reissue. We're going to make the changes in the prior months because we want to even those flows. But in our financial package, we're going to state that we made these changes on the year-to-date numbers. So this disclosure.
So they're getting a whole lot more, well, cleaner, better, more accurate ability to forecast, visibility into cash flow, et cetera.
Oh yeah, yep. And now with AI,
Mm.
it's
Yeah.
on steroids.
So tell us
But
about that. How has the AI changed your business slash industry, and how are you utilizing it so people stay confident versus, concerned or worried about AI?
so right now, AI hasn't really um, moved the needle, to speak.
Okay.
Now, it is getting better every day. So right now, I have two tools, one within QuickBooks and one's a third-party tool that I can ask questions and feel comfortable that I am getting the right answer 90% of the time. You still have to check it all the time.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm now getting done with the analytics. I know how to ask the questions. So give us the answers, because that's as important. Knowing the right question to ask, because if you don't ask the right question, it will give you the wrong answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now moving into the automation, the agenics area. Now I'm going to a conference next month where I'll get a deeper dive into it. But I've spent the past 2 years evaluating ChatGPT,
Mm-hmm.
evaluating Copilot,
Mm-hmm.
and at times it reminded me when I did programming, website programming in 1995. It's just like has a lot of promise, a lot of hopes. It can look really good, and it can also fall flat on its face.
Yeah, I've had the same experience, and it's only for me. I'm just working on some certain processes,
Yep. Yep.
and sometimes it just flakes out. Other times it's pretty spot on.
Yep.
As you
Yeah.
said, you
Oh
got to
yeah.
check it, but it's still growing. It's still there. Going to be a good tool as time goes on.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Absolutely. Just like the internet,
Yeah, back
30
then.
years ago. Who would have ever thought that we would be doing a broadcast together over the internet?
All right, so this is even funnier, and I know I'll bore some people with this, and others will think, "Man, you're old." Well, you're not wrong, but I remember in my dorm room in Kennedy Tower having the coupler. You dial into the computer center, you hear the noise, you put the phone in the coupler so you could work on your green screen
Yep.
terminal, and write your code for the assignment.
Yeah,
And you,
I actually didn't do that. I actually walked from Washington all the way across campus to the
yeah,
computer science
yeah,
center
yeah,
to sit at a deck writer to do coding.
yeah. Well, I talked my parents into getting me the terminal for the room. It was by the
Yeah,
month, I think, for that semester. So, but it worked out. It worked out well. It took up a ton of room though. The thing was big,
yeah, I
big fat
bet.
monitor. All right, so you're working with SaaS companies, subscription-based firms, professional
Yeah,
services,
manufacturing.
manufacturing, trades and construction. You mentioned that. Oh,
Hmm.
veterinary and health services.
Yep,
Really anybody, but you probably have some specialties, but really anybody and anywhere. Geography is not a hindrance anymore.
that is correct.
Yeah.
But like I said, right now, our real specialty is if you have a front end system that you really use to run your business,
Mhm. Mhm.
and it's not communicating well with your accounting solution, that's a good opening for us.
They could be franchises. Do you work with franchises? Because they have, very characteristic is they have some kind of front end system.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Mm.
it's just per chance, it really hasn't fallen into our lap.
But you could.
And the funny thing is as a reseller for QuickBooks,
Yeah.
we have multi unit discounts that we could give
Oh,
franchises.
very cool. Very cool. All right. Can you give us a couple of case studies? Don't mention names, but give us some case studies of where you feel like you've just added a ton of value.
Oh, I'm going to go with my marquee clients,
Okay.
and if they perchance listen, they know who they are.
Yeah.
I started with them when they were operating out of the 3-season room in the front of their house,
Oh man.
and I was trying to, they came in, they were on desktop. Their mother was doing the bookkeeping, and it was a mess.
Bless her heart.
Yeah, and so I said to them, I said, "Hey, look, why don't you let us do it? Have us do this with you." And as they've grown, we've grown. But they also are really a good best practice company.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
hired a sales coach to show their technicians how to
Excellent.
upsell without being sold.
Excellent.
Okay. They did EOS on their own. So,
Yep.
you know, that is one of the reasons why they're my
That's a
favorite
good
client.
tell. That's a good
Yeah,
tell.
because they're always trying to do the right thing and they're always listening to me. Um, a we had a client who just sold, and we came in, and it was a referral from Provisors.
Mhm.
And we came in. They had just migrated off of QuickBooks Desktop Enterprise to QuickBooks Online. It was a mess. It was horrible. And again, another person, he hired a industry consultant to help him get do the best practicing. So we started doing some very complicated work in progress. We had a very elaborate chart of accounts. And when the buyer was doing their due diligence, we never got any questions. And it was a very successful sale. And my client is very happy right now. And he's working at a golf course.
Good for him. Now, you're out of client, though. No bad reason, but right?
No bad reason. There's always going to be churn.
Sure.
The good churn is we've helped, I think, 6 companies either get capital influx or been sold. When they get capital influx, they tend to say you have to hire our people, so we tend to lose them. But we've been very successful in that area.
All right, let's. I want to touch on a couple of other things too. What's Woodard is an organization, right? You've got a lot of recognitions and credentials, and I just want to run down those. But tell us what Woodard is first.
Woodard is run by Joe Woodard, and Joe Woodard was one of the first people to actually create training documentation for Intuit. And then he was working with somebody else, and they had a conference. And then Joe decided to go to have his own conference. And I went to my first Woodard Scaling New Heights, which is next month. Always starts on Father's Day for the fathers. And going to that conference was life-changing. He was the person who said, pick a niche, which we didn't do. But because if you pick a niche, you can have established processes that are repeatable and scalable. So I picked up on the process-driven firm portion of it, and over the years, I've just learned so much from him, and because of him, I also hired a one-to-one coach, and his name I'm going to give him a little shout out. His name's Richard Roper. He runs Roundtable, and the two of them were really, really instrumental in my professional and personal growth.
And for 23-24, both years you were awarded top 50 consulting
client accounting services.
CAS, client accounting services.
Or just AS accounting service.
Top 50. That's outstanding.
Top 50. Yep. They didn't do it this year.
You didn't apply?
No, they didn't do it this year.
Oh, they didn't do the award. Oh,
no.
You're also top 10 QuickBooks Online Advisor, Insightful Accountants version for 2023. Yep. You're an 8-time top 100 QuickBooks Pro Advisor. And there are thousands. There are thousands of QuickBooks Pro Advisors.
I'll give you some numbers very quickly.
Yeah.
So I started the program in 1997 when it first rolled out. And on the 25th anniversary of the program, at that time, it's now Intuit Connect at QuickBooks Connect, I was told by a person, you got to go sit in the front rows. The accounting segment leader got up and talked about the history of the program. There's something like 7 million QuickBooks Pro advisors around the world.
Okay, worldwide, yeah.
Yeah, worldwide. Out of that, let's say even 4 million, whatever it is, only 400 of the original class are still pro advisors.
Wow.
45 of us showed up at that conference. Okay, so Joe used to be a partner in Insightful Accountant, and he sold his share. And so Insightful Accountant does a rigorous survey to hand out their top 100 awards. And I did not participate this year on purpose. I thought 8 was a wonderful number to stop at.
That's a great number.
And also in 23, I got the online QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor of the Year. There was only one more above that. That's the QuickBooks Pro Advisor of the Year. And that, for the most part, has generally been going to women. So I said, you know what? 8, top 10, 2 times. I've got enough accolades.
Beautiful.
Because truthfully, 1H Solutions is not about Jonathan Bello anymore. Okay. I need to be replaceable. It's about what my team stands for.
Yeah. Yeah.
The top 50 is not my award. It's my team's award.
Well, I
Okay.
did notice that your bio, and I hope those that listened noticed, your bio is equally about you and your team. So that
Yep.
normally a bio is about an individual. You chose to make it about the team, which is commendable. All right, last question. 2 last questions, actually.
Yeah.
Who in the viewing and listening audiences should reach out to you, and why?
Oh, you go into your QuickBooks and you don't trust it. Okay. You go into your QuickBooks, it's dated. Okay. That's just a great place to start. Okay. Now, if you want to work with a firm that's going to help you grow and do the right things, okay, like I'll tell my clients, don't spend personal money out of the business, because one day you're going to maybe want to sell the business or give away the business, and and that's going to hurt you down the line. Okay. So I think that's a good place to start.
Excellent. And the last is, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you? It's in the crawl, but go ahead and say it.
Yeah. So first of all, if you wrote down the website from the crawl, you have to add a ION at the end of 1H Solutions. It's TON. TU, my work wife, who's my sales and marketing director, who came on board really not knowing anything about the industry. Oh no.
All right,
They
go ahead
changed
and
the crawl again.
That's right.
So it's TIIU at ONE-8.com. She is a great person to start with.
Great. TIIU at one, the spelled out one dash the numeral 8.com.
Yes.
Great. And mention the show.
The crawl did get a little messed up.
That's all right. It was a typo.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Mention the show.
Yes.
And the website is?
1-8solutions.com.
Which is?
ONE, the number 8, solutions.com.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Jonathan. I know how busy you are.
Thank you very much for having me. This was a blast.
I'm so glad. I enjoyed it too. And thanks everybody for listening. This is a show about business, often business challenges. That's what Jonathan solves. If you've got concerns about the sales effectiveness of your company, whether your sales team is you or very small or it's large, feel free to reach out to me on Facebook or LinkedIn at Winning Business Radio, or drop me a note, kevin@winningbusinessradio.com. Our team is Winning Incorporated. We're part of Sandler Training. We develop sales teams into high achievers and sales leaders into true coaches and mentors. We're not a fit for everybody, but hey, maybe we should have a conversation. Thank you to producer and engineer Juan for another job well done. Thank you, Juan. Be sure to join us next week, next Monday, May 18th. My two guests will be Jim and Deanna Varney, founders and owners of Wavelength Coffee Roasters. Until then, this is Kevin Hallinan.
You've been listening to Winning Business Radio with your host, Kevin Hallinan. If you missed any part of this episode, the podcast is available on Talk4 Podcasting and iHeartRadio. For more information and questions, go to winningbusinessradio.com or check us out on social media. Tune in again next week and every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time to listen live to Winning Business Radio on W4CY Radio, W4CY.com. Until then, let's succeed where others have failed and win in business with Kevin Hallinan and Winning Business Radio.